Hello, Radiant Souls, and welcome to this episode, which I'm calling Queer Spirituality. So, this is a topic that's really important to me. It's been a life's journey. It's been the reason I'm creating this, the reason I am building this business. So, one of the most difficult things to reconcile in my life was my spirituality and my queerness. I was raised in a church that, like many, told me that I was wrong and that there was a place for me, but not the same as everyone else. Now, I know a lot of people have had it worse. A lot of people have been told, um, you're disowned, you're kicked out of the church, your family must disown you, you must repent. Things that get way, way worse. Conversion therapy, unfortunately. Um, I am blessed that it wasn't that bad. So when you don't know any better, and you're already feeling like you don't have a place in this world just internally based on messages or feelings that you're getting in your school or in your family or anywhere else, you just kind of accept the spirituality in the church part or whatever, place of worship or community you belong to, um, that's just a hard truth, and you just feel you must accept it. So many give up here and leave spirituality and religion altogether. And I mean, with good reason. You are being told that you are wrong and you're a bad person when all you did was exist. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this, right? So I can't blame you. Who can blame you? Who can blame anyone for that choice? Certainly was an option to me. So why would you keep feeling like you don't belong while you hear the preaching about love and acceptance? That like Christianity, why would you want to keep sitting there or listening to people telling you that you're bad and you're wrong and judging you, and all while saying, Jesus taught us to love everyone, embrace everyone. Yes, and then other people started adding on their 2 cents after that. Well, he'll do that if you X, Y, and Z. You have to do what we say, and I'm going to write some more stuff about it. I'm going to clarify things that Yeshua was teaching, but he never said anything about gay people. Just throwing that out there. Um, so slowly, as I started to shed the oppression and take my own path, I found myself not being embraced even by the queer community because I was spiritual, because I still wanted to make this work somehow for me. This was still I knew this was an important part of my life. I knew this had to be a focal point of my life. So now imagine a young man, or you as a young person, if you probably may have gone through this yourself, who already carries an inner child that feels like he doesn't belong, that he needs to be locked up in a cage, that he needs to be, I mean, some of us want us killed, some of us want us just gone. Um, and I got those messages. I got a lot of those messages. I grew up in my most formative years seeing the Matthew Shepard murder all over the news. Um, those were the types of messages I was getting growing up. So now being rejected by my own community, the marginalizing me further, I'm like, wow, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. So um, now I'm feeling like I don't belong anywhere. Um, yeah, just being judged by your own community, by the queer community who I thought would understand. So I'm not saying that was everyone. There were pockets of acceptance and places I could belong, um, but they never just really quite fit. And I never also could fit into, pop gay culture of bars and clubs. Like it just, meh, the energy wasn't my energy. I couldn't match that vibration. I didn't want to. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. And it wasn't a judgmental thing. It just didn't make me feel good. I didn't feel good about myself, and I didn't feel good about where I was. So it just never was quite everything I needed. So the journey continues throughout my life. What did I need? That's what I had to start asking myself. What do I need? What I needed was radical self-acceptance and self-love, first of all. And I'm not saying that's an easy thing to do. That's not easy for the average person who grows up in privilege. It's certainly not easy for anyone who's marginalized for any reason. You're hearing messages of how you're different, you're wrong, you're bad, you don't you're not as equal. You're second class, third class even. You don't get the same privileges as everyone else. Um, so I had to really accept who I was, full stop. I had to love who I was, full stop. Flaws, everything. And I'm just going to let you in on a little secret. That didn't happen till my 40s. That, like, when I was honest with myself, it was actually a really beautiful breathwork session that I did. And that wasn't the intention going in. I just wanted to heal. I was at a point in my life where I really needed to do healing on my nervous system because it was fried from the environment that I was currently in at home. And I was just going to with the intention to heal that. And what came out of that, all the only words I could get out of my mouth at that time was, I love myself. And I just stopped and I let that be. And I still get teared up thinking about it because it was such a beautiful spiritual moment. I felt so close to the divine in that moment. Breath work will do that. I highly recommend breath work if you've never done it. Um, so what had to happen was I needed to change the whole mindset I had, the entire mindset. Um, that mindset that I didn't fit in anywhere, that I didn't fit in a community, and realize that it's the systems that don't fit me. This is not a me problem. This is a global problem. This is a bigger problem that's been going on for centuries, for millennia. These are systems in place specifically designed to do this to me. So this particular one was designed for my community. These systems have colonizing backgrounds that protect certain classes of people, certain races of people, and reward them for compliance. And I am speaking about organized religion as well, all of them. There are absolutely indigenous and ancient spiritual traditions that 100% embraced queer culture, 100%, and even honored it in a special way. That was a beautiful thing to learn at one point. That was also a very moving moment for me. So now what? Why do I still post so many like Catholic-ish themes on social media? Why do I attend churches and events that don't necessarily align with my belief system? Well, the truth is, I still find beauty in so many of the traditions that I was raised with. You have to like understand your lens that you were brought up in. You could you could have been raised, a fundamentalist Christian and 100% embrace Buddhism. 100% possible. I've read into it and I love it. I love the beauty of it. I've practiced Wicca. I love the beauty of getting in touch with nature. But I started running into shoulds in Wicca. You have to do it this way. You must do it this way. No. Once the shoulds start, the red flags come up. So specifically Maronite Catholicism, which I was raised in. That was my lens. That was my original lens. And a lot of it still worked for me. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I can stick with Jesus or Yeshua, the teachings 100% align with my divine love within all of us. Now, it's more of a Gnostic view. It's certainly not the traditional teachings that the church teaches. It's much more of a Dead Sea Scroll fringe Gnostic view for sure. Um, but yeah, this I missed the chants, I missed the songs. There's an energy there, and the rituals, especially the rituals. I love a ritual. That's how I get into my state. I can't sit and meditate on a leaf going down the river and putting my thoughts on this leaf and letting the like I can't do that. That's not my type of meditation. I do a ritual. I got candles, I got incense, I got water, I've got sound bowls, gongs, bells. I've got it all. I need ritual to really commune with the divine within me. So I've taken what works and I leave the rest behind. And some might call that bypassing. I call that really hard work. I call that really hard work to get to the point where I could do that and be comfortable and not feel guilty. And if somebody walked up to me today and said, you know, you should be doing this, I'm like, no, thanks. Do I still fall into the trap? Listen, sometimes I can't resist. I am an Aries. I am a Cancer. Like sometimes I can't resist the urge to fight back, but where does that get me? It makes me feel crappy. We don't have the same theology. Why would I even argue? I'm not here to convince people that my way of belief and spirituality is correct. That's not what I'm trying to do. That's colonizer mentality. I'm not here to do that. So if you don't agree, you don't agree. I don't want to debate it. It's not debatable for me. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to, if you want to understand and learn where I come from, fine, I'll talk about it. But I'm not here to debate what's right and what's wrong because it's got to be up to you. You decide that. So, again, if any institution ever tells you this is how you must, the alarms should go off in your head and pay attention. Why must I? Who does that benefit? Me? Just because that works for you, should it work for me? No. I don't go to church to worship. I go for a feeling, a state of being, a collective energy of the people there and doing energy work, whether you want to call it that or not. That's what they're doing. They're doing energy work in the rituals, in the prayer. That's energy work. And most people, at least where I go, most people are coming from a place of love, concern. They want to see good in the world. They want to see good in other people. They want to see good in themselves. And they're putting that intention out there. And that energy resonates, that vibration. And the more people that are doing that at the same time, like that intensifies and that sits like a residue, that beautiful energy. So after years and years and years of the same church doing that, the same people, the same traditions, like that's what I feel when I walk in. Now, I'm not saying every church is like that. I'm not saying every place of worship is like that. There have been some I've walked into and I'm like, oh, this feels heavy. This feels tense. This feels judgmental. This feels critical. Like, no, no. Even in the same traditions. I've been in Catholic churches where I'm like, oof, no, absolutely not. And I was right. I was absolutely right. My intuition serves me very well. So, another way to think about this is like being in a committed relationship. You don't have to love everything that that person does or believes in. Um, but if you're comfortable with the compromise that you're making and it doesn't compromise your own personal values, um, then that's just love. Now, I know compromise, that word can be very triggering for a lot of people. Um, so I just want to acknowledge that what might be coming up for you, it might be like a absolutely not am I compromising anything. You might feel like that gets too close to compromising your values. Totally fine. I understand. Totally fine. It's about your relationship with your spiritual practices versus loving a actual flawed institution. I don't love the church structure, hierarchy, and all that. I love the energy and the practice. And I'm not going to do it every Sunday. I'm going to do it when it feels right and I feel called to do it. I feel something is there for me that day. Great. So this should never be a perfect process. It is full of conflict and feeling stuck, and it forces you to explore growth. Like I always say, if you're not forced with a conflict or something that you have to face, then you're not growing. And growth is always going to be not so nice. It doesn't have to be horrible. You don't have to suffer, but it's not always comfortable. It's probably a better word. So, to put it simply, like I have made spirituality whatever the F I want it to be. And a year from now, that could look totally different. And I'm so comfortable with that. I could, look back on what I'm practicing now and be like, ugh, no. I'm totally comfortable with that. I'm totally okay owning that because it should constantly change. And that's amazing. And I have my own rituals at home, and I've combined, Maronite Catholic tradition, astrology, tarot. I have icons, I have little statues. Um, I have on my altar downstairs right here, I have, Mary and Jesus, but also Hecate and angels and saints and Buddha and Aries and Bast. I have all kinds of stuff in this house. Um, I use meditation, I use energy work. I don't put a label on it, and that feels fine. I participate in what feels right and expansive to my understanding of the universe and the light that is within us all. So, what works for you? Is this something that you want to start exploring? I have some questions for you that you can start thinking about. What about your spiritual practice feels like a chore? Where does that feeling come from? I took a 9-year break from going to church because it felt like I was going out of habit. I was getting frustrated. I was no longer in a place where I could sit and listen. And then I wanted to go back. I felt called to go back and I felt good about it. It felt great. I'm in a much different place in my life than I was 9 years ago. I love myself now. So I'm very comfortable. What practices are truly yours? Why do you take ownership of them? Like, do you pray before a meal? The same words just because that's what you do. It's a habit. You feel guilty if you don't. How are you benefiting? Would it make more sense to you just to, when you remember, you do it and you just say something different like, "Oh, I'm so grateful for this food. It's so good. So grateful for whoever made it. I'm grateful for how it got here and the land it came from and for the people who live on that land, own that land." What are things that bring you peace and joy? Is it walking in nature, working out, taking a nap? Naps are spiritual practice, let me tell you. Because when you want to cut up and you choose to take a nap instead, that's a spiritual practice. Cooking, painting, something that brings you peace and joy. Where have you felt like you don't fit? Could it be the system that doesn't fit you? Religion, government, all of it. Those systems are set up for specific people, not for everyone, no matter what they tell you. You know that. You know when you haven't benefited from the privilege. You know when someone's getting something you're not, and they try to gaslight you, like, that's not how it is. We're here to protect you and uplift you. No, they're not. They're not. They're there to stay in power. They're there to exist and they protect that existence. And I'm not saying that's all bad, but you need to know that the systems don't fit us. Think about the clothing industry as kind of a metaphor. You are rarely going to find something that fits your body shape. Sure, they make different sizes, but not for your specific body, right? I rarely find something that fits my body. And it's not my fault. It's not my body's fault. It's just the way the clothing industry works. Unless you have all your clothes tailored to your specific body and remain the same your entire life, no, it's not your fault. It's the systems in place. It's the institutions in place. So I am wishing you all the peace and joy. Let's just all take a collective deep breath right now. In through the nose and out with a ha. Keep doing it if you need to. If this resonated with you and you want someone to sit with you on this journey, on this growth journey, you want someone to talk about some where you're getting stuck, where you want to grow, check out my website, weareradiantsouls.com. I coach one-on-one. I love to talk about this kind of stuff. Um, we can meet for a free 30-minute connection call to determine if we're a good fit. You tell me what you're looking for. I tell you about my coaching style, and we go from there. So until then, keep shining. Love you.